Alright, it's Sunday night. It's the 23rd of March, 2025. I'm very late. I said I would show up and do some tarot readings, but I'm very late, so it doesn't look like there's anybody here. So I think what I'll do is what happened, I think it was a couple weeks ago, and it was 3 hours before I actually showed up. And then I just did like a little global reading. And when I did that, I thought, this is really profound. I was not expecting to do that. I didn't know what was going to happen. And I didn't have any kind of plans or any kind of expectations. I just thought, well, if I went through the trouble of setting up the show and it's broadcasting and it's going to YouTube, and if there's just a few folks out there on the channel who still exist, then they might get this and they might find it useful. And so I think that's probably the best thing I can do right now. You know, if I was more organized, did all sorts of promotions and email blasts and shorts and advance notices and things like that, I'd probably have a different experience here for you and for myself. But things are the way they are. So I'm not going to do an astrodoodle or anything. Honestly, you can go see all that at TarotLumination over on the other platform, RUMBLE. And I try to do those every evening around 5 p.m. Pacific time. That would be about 8 p.m. on Eastern time. Victor! Oh my gosh, so somebody got the notification. That's probably about it. Hi, Victor. Excuse me. So, I wonder if I can... Give me a second, Victor. Now, I don't know if you watch my shows over on the other platform, but there have been some very interesting things happening financially across the globe. And I posted a couple of things on my X. Okay, that's become a really valuable resource for myself. I use the X platform as like a place to archive material. So at the end of my shows during the week, I load them onto X, and some people prefer that. And I often post a few other little nibbles and tidbits in between the videos that really struck me as important regarding global astrology. And recently there have been some very significant financial ones. So let me see if I can point that out to Victor while you're still here. Give me a second. I'm doing a... this is supposed to be tarot readings over here on YouTube. TarotLumination on YouTube, right? But I've got a couple tidbits. Let me see if I can find them, and I'll be right there, so just bear with me. Okay. Alright, so I'm pulling up my X. There he is. Alright, let's move away from there. And let's do this. Clickety click. Just hang in there, okay? Okay, let's go over here. Is it... the signal is not very strong, but that's okay. All right. Thank you, Victor. Thank you. So this one might interest you, Victor. Let's see if I can do it without... it's tricky, isn't it? Is this going to focus or not? Doesn't look like it's going to focus very well. I'll give it another chance. No. Anyway, so Victor, if you're interested, I've got some pretty scary stuff over there at TarotLumination on my X account, okay? And I was shared this by Love Triber, who also is very interested in these situations, okay? Also, I made some notes in the video about the astrology regarding the banks and the warmongers. And I don't know if you saw this one as well, Victor. Damn it, I can't really see it. And I'm going to switch to my phone. This is not going very well. Let me try it this way. So you know I'm not making this stuff up. Okay. I know there's other ways I could do the transmissions and the shows and do screen sharings and things like that, but honestly, I don't really enjoy it that much. So I prefer to stick with the system that I do right now. Please bear with me. Okay, I'm going into my X account over here. Starting again over here. And go to over here, clickety click. Alright, let's see if this shows up better. There it is. That's actually at the very top of my listings over there on X. It's very, very disturbing stuff, Victor. You might want to just check it out just for the awareness. And when I go down over here on the astrology, I'm focusing on the global astrology, and part of the storyline with the astrology is regarding the banks and the warmongers and so on. Okay? It's pretty vile, disgusting stuff. Here's the other one you might find interesting. If you track these things, Victor, BlackRock just bought 2,660, was it 68 Bitcoin for $218 million. I think they're trying to send a message, maybe trying to nibble or move the market a little bit. And yep, no, that's the count. Okay. Okay. Right, let's leave it. So, sorry, I'm just pretty discombobulated at the moment, as you can tell. I was watching our new Treasury Secretary, Besant, and I think he's kind of a remarkable person because he seems to be very peaceful and very aligned with the Trump administration in such a way that is baffling the masses. Where is he? Where's Scott? There he is. Okay. Scott Besant. And, you know, he's been a money guy pretty much his whole life, his whole career. And it's very interesting that Trump picked him for Treasury Secretary, considering that Besant was a financial advisor for the Soros Fund long ago. Hello, yes, I'm doing readings. I'll do a reading, okay? I can do personal reading if anyone's there, but it's very late. I don't see anybody here. Victor came along, and he likes the financial stuff, but that's really better to do that over on the Rumble platform. And so I thought, like what happened, I think it was last week or the week before, I did a global tarot reading, and I thought it was very profound, and I just left it there on YouTube. I haven't checked in on it or anything. I don't know if anybody saw it or anybody commented, but it was a very profound reading, and I did not load it onto my X because I didn't want to confuse the audience on my X platform. I feel like I'm already operating so far out on the fringes that it's lucky I have an audience at all. I just had a nice comment from a lady today on the Rumble videos that I've been doing, so that was very kind of her. And on the Rumble stuff, I do this global astrology. I pull up a chart for every day, and we do a sort of an analysis, form some opinions, and I share my observations. And It's pretty straightforward stuff. And some people love it, and I'm very happy about that. So I'm going to continue, even though a lot of times it really just doesn't make any sense at all. YouTube just scrubbed another 1,000 people off of my YouTube channel. And there you go. Okay, so here we go. Let's just get on with it, okay? Oh. All right. Well, it looks like, let's see. Looks like Love Triber has booked a reading. Let's just double check over there. Okie dokie. All right, so we're going to do a personal reading first, and then I'll wrap it up with a global reading. How about that? Victor, I know you're not interested in the readings and stuff, but if you want to hang out for fun, that's okay too. Obviously. It's your choice. So anyway. All right, now I shuffled the cards well in advance. And yes, I see that. Thank you, Love Triber. All right, so let's just dive right in. Let's unfold the mysteries of the tarot. All right, here we go. Let's get a post-it note here. Actually, I'm going to have to get another pile of post-it notes from somewhere. Give me a second. Thank you, Love Triber. Here we go. Okay, I got some original post-it notes here. The original pale yellow. It's coming. Don't worry, your post-it is right here. There we go. I heard something very sad yesterday. I don't know if you look around at other channels, but there's a lady called Varouche, and she does astrology and tarot, and she's very, very good. She's very detailed. I have a feeling she's a Virgo. I don't really know, but she's been doing this a very long time. And for some reason, her channel is being attacked. It's terrible. It's absolutely terrible. And it sounds like she's really struggling with what to do, because she's doing this with loving intentions. And then to have people and a platform trying to undermine, destroy, sabotage her work, it's really, I think, immature. It's childish. Why would these huge corporations, with billions of dollars, millions of channels, why would they be scared of little channels like mine or channels like Varouche or something like that? It's so ridiculous. All right. Okay, Love Triber, you know what to do. Brace yourself, put on your seatbelt, sit on your hands if you have to. Invite your invisible friends to gather around close. Imagine that you're at a wonderful campfire with a few friends, and it's a gorgeous evening. It's a beautiful sky. The stars are shining. There's a brook and a stream nearby, fresh water that flows straight into the ocean, which is just at the end of the campsite. It's beautiful. Okay. The fire's already been going for a while, so you can roast your hot dogs and marshmallows and all that good stuff. And other people can just observe and participate. Okay, here we go. All right, what kind of messages do we have for Love Tribe right here tonight? Anything and everything. Okie dokie. Brace yourself. Here we go. I'm using my situational spread. If anyone here is watching, they've never seen this stuff before, I have my own custom spreads. I don't use the traditional popular spreads. I do my own spreads. This is my situational spread. It's like a little diagnostic tool. It's like the little black boxes that you have when you go to the auto shop and you tell them, oh, my check engine light is flashing. I don't know what to do in my car. Something's wrong. Something's wrong. And then they send somebody out with a little black box and they plug it in under your dashboard. And then they figure out what the problems are. And they print it out on a list for you. That's what this is. Because you got to reveal it to heal it. You can't figure out how to fix things if you don't know what the problem is. Here's the situation. Here's the challenges. Here's how we're going to handle things. And let's have a look at external influences. Typically, I default to the planets, but let's have a look anyway. Death card. So we're talking transformation. And sometimes it's a little bit scary. Some people are obviously terrified of this card. I mean, you can see why. Let's see if I can get a close-up on the guy, on the guy on horseback. See if that shows up. Look at his mask. Oh God! And he's got metal armor, and he's walking through. What's that expression? Yea, I walk through the valley of death, but I fear not because I have God on my side, or something like that. But the beauty of the death card is that it's about transformation, transformational energy healing from deep within to the depths of the soul. And the ultimate purpose is to basically obliterate and destroy all sorts of redundant, obsolete, stagnant energies, belief systems, habits, whatever it is in your life, in your world, whatever it could be, a perception, a person, a thing, a subject, a concept, whatever it is, it has to go. And if you resist, it just makes it more difficult. So the best thing to do is go with the flow and don't be frightened. See, a lot of people are terrified because people are terrified of the unknown. That's one of the problems with the death card, is that it breaks up the status quo. It just kind of crushes it, and then it scatters, and then it allows new seeds to form and to end up with a new life, a new version of you, as you can see over here in the miniature tiny horizon. I don't know if you recognize that, but when I see that, I see the moon card way in the distance. It's very mysterious, nebulous, and it's there, and it feels good, and it's drawing you in that direction, but you have to go through all of this to get there. Like the only way out is through, as they say. Do not fear. This is about transformation. Pluto, Scorpio, that type of energy. Deep, profound soul transformation. You might not even know it's happening while it's happening. But what you would notice is three-dimensional, 3D life. You would notice that things feel different or look different over an extended period of time, like a few weeks, a few months. Let's have a look. What's the situation? Okay, Two of Pentacles. It's basically about what I would say, not just money, but resources. Your talents, your gifts, all the things that are very, very valuable that you have at hand, that you own 100%. In other words, physical assets, money in the bank. Also, your natural skills, your talents, your gifts, your, let's say, marketable skills, things like that. Of course, also the money itself, I would call it cash flow with the Two of Pentacles, understanding that We're going through some really profound upheavals in the global financial system right now. And it's very, very important to literally mind your own business, allow the world to convulse and do what it's going to do, because a lot of that is completely out of your control, and instead focus strictly on minding your own business, like you would as if you were a bookkeeper of your own life, cash in, cash out, expenditures for the week, for the month, and so on and so on. How to balance that out while you're going through the turbulence. Okay, that is the foundation of the reading here. And the idea is that, again, this is for the good. It's very, very important to know how to navigate through turbulent times financially on the global scale. I know you study these things, so how do you translate that back into your personal life so you can integrate some of that wisdom, some of that knowledge? Like, oh, I watched this, I studied this the other day, I learned this the other day. How does that apply to me directly? And so on. Okay, Victor. So, I don't see anything good or bad about this. It's just stuff that has to be taken care of. It just requires very, very close attention to detail, and it's like just being a good steward of your wealth, your assets, so that you don't get out of whack with cash flow, like the money coming in relative to the money going out. It has to balance over the long term. Yes, things are going to fluctuate as you go through monthly, quarterly events, which is normal for finance. All right, what's the challenges here? Okay, with the Queen of Cups, you might feel as though you've lost your mojo. It's just like, I know I've got this. I know this is a big part of me. Because you have that. You're already like a naturopath energy healer. And you always do your best to be a loving person. And yet there's doubt. There's doubt. You might be thinking to yourself, well, why don't I see evidence of that in my own life? It's like that chapter from My Name is Earl comedy series, where Earl is walking down the street talking to his brother Randy. And Earl is saying, you know what, Randy? I'm sick of this karma stuff. I won a lottery. I got a lot of money. I started helping out my friends who were having a really hard time. And like, so where's the kickback for me? I'm almost a saint now. And where's the kickback? Where's the good stuff? Where's my good things? When are all the good things going to start happening to me in my life? It's not fair. So it might feel those things are unfair, but it's a question of perspective. How do you actually see karma? How do you define it? The thing is, with the Queen of Cups here, it's an indication that you're already this way, but you don't feel that way. It's like maybe a bit of resentment or a bit of bitterness towards life events in such a way that it's like, it's not fair. It's not fair. I should be appreciated and valued at this level, the same way that I give out at this level. All right, let's have a look. How are we going to deal with this going forward? Okay, with the Queen of Swords. Okay, this is kind of a ruthless card here. You've got these two queens going here. So it obviously is a very powerful message to tap into your most feminine energy possible and use it shamelessly, courageously, lovingly, truthfully, honestly, to deal with the foundational matters over here. And it's almost like it's saying, the reason you might feel out of balance here on a material scale, just the physical three-dimensional aspects of life. Hello, Tina. Hello, Sarah. So, going forward, it's like Once you understand that the Queen of Cups is really not a problem, that's more like it's in your imagination. The real issue is balancing out the three-dimensional world right now in a very meticulous way as we go through a lot of big changes in the world right now. We've just come out of an eclipse and we're heading into an eclipse, okay? Yeah, I can handle it, Tina. Thank you. So with the Queen of Swords, the indication here is that you've really got to start to be very firm with some of your own thoughts, attitudes, and belief systems. Anything that you know deep down is no longer serving you or healthy for you, it has to go. Whether it's a habit, a belief system, a behavior pattern, like a routine, something like that. Also, regarding the rest of your world, sometimes you could call this like a divorce card, but this is it's very neutral in that regard. In other words, it's not an emotional, chaotic, like heartbreaking issue. It's just almost like a ruthless severing of anything and anyone that no longer serves you, your purpose, your harmony, your balance in your life in this world right now. And that's hard to do because, you're used to you would be used to a certain way of living, certain patterns. Thank you, Sarah. Okay, so we got a reading for Tina and a reading for Sarah. Thank you so much. So going forward, this could indicate that, there are recurring thoughts, feelings, attitudes. What's the other word I was thinking of? Habits that are no longer serving you and they have to go. Perhaps it might be with people, might be with just day-to-day, very tiny, trivial things that seem almost meaningless at first, but are actually very important. It could be anything to do with health, communications, people that are really like not part of your life, but they are taking up room. They're taking up room in your life, and you don't need that. It's almost like a burden. So it has to go, and that would help you to harmonize your three-dimensional world. So it's much more calm, much more stable. I know it's very weird. I'm going to just mention something. Okay, here we go. What happens a lot of times with because I've gone through, sorry, let me just try to start again. I'm just giving a personal touch because I had to go through tremendous amounts of therapy and counseling because of childhood issues, and I managed to survive and come out the other side okay. Things could have worked out better or different, but I'm basically okay. I think of myself, I'm a very lucky man, I'm a very wealthy man, I'm a very happy man, I'm a very blessed man in my own ways. And I always remind myself of those things every single day, because it's very easy to wallow in all the pain and suffering of anything and everything that's not working. And so one of the things I learned pretty early on in counseling, and it was very hard to extract myself from the problem, is that we fall in love with our problems. They become part of our identity. It's almost like we don't know who we are except through our problems. And that's not a good habit, because there's a whole other world of life outside your problems. Yes, your problems are there. You're always going to have problems and issues that need to be dealt with, but they're not your identity. You can't allow them to consume your whole life, your whole world, because that's unhealthy, and then you lose track of who you are, and people end up projecting, in an extreme situation like over in Iran, projecting all their hatred. They have to have an enemy, so they project all their hatred towards America, and that becomes their identity. Oh, those are the people in the Middle East that want to kill Americans. Okay, all right, there we go. So anyway, that's just another way to fine-tune yourself ongoing as you go through this profound probably fairly slow-moving transformational phase. Maybe it's to do with the eclipses and the retrogrades right now. Okay? All right, so let's leave it at that for now. Pax's paws are growing faster than her. Wow. Yeah, actually, I've seen that on puppies, and with their patterns of growing. At this rate, I don't know if I'll actually do a global reading tonight. All right. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Tina. What I'll do right now is, I think I was aware of. Give me a second here. I'm just going to shuffle up, okay? Just give me a few moments. All right, I'm gonna read for Sarah next, okay? Sarah, you're up. You believe you donated. I believe you. All right, Sarah, you're up. There we go. And then we're going to read for Tina. All right. All right, Sarah, you know what to do. If you were here earlier, I was trying to create a virtual environment in your brain so that you feel you're in the right place at the right time for the right reason with the right people. I like to think of the campfire like in the very early days of TarotLumination on YouTube. I always had this vivid, it's like a parallel world. It wasn't just an imagination. It was like a parallel world of like this TarotLumination retreat campsite with nature, flowing streams, luscious green grass, an ocean just over there, campfire, beautiful sky so you could see all the stars and the planets, nice shelter from the cold, from the heat, and lots of delicious food and beverages as we huddle around a perpetual campfire. So just picture that, if you would, Sarah. Get your invisible friends close by, have a good huddle, enjoy the moment, and we're going to just dive in. And you've done this before, Sarah, so I'm just going to dive in myself. What kind of messages do we have here tonight for Sarah? I don't know what's going to happen. I try to remember as little as possible about the history of clients over the years, but some things, they stick. Dogs are so amazing. Probably one of my favorite things on this planet. Oh, cool. Okay, I've had a couple of dogs over the years. All right. Sarah, forgive me for asking, but are you one of the people who was looking into real estate with your partner, something like that, or am I thinking of someone else? Anyway, here we go. What's GSD? All right, here we go. Let's have a look. I have to do this again, excuse me. Yeah. Okay, Sarah. Okay, so now I've got my... that's all I want to know. Don't tell me anything else, okay? All right, here we go. What kind of messages do we have for Sarah tonight? Let's have a look at this. Here's the situation. Here's the challenges. And here's how we're going to handle things. All right, and let's look at external influences. Kerblam. Oh, we got the Two of Wands here. So this is a very future-oriented card. And it's very, like, it's at the germination, the germination stage of growth. The seed is already planted. The seeds of growth, the seeds of ambition, the seeds of the future, they're already planted, but it's very undefined at the moment. It's almost like it's... I love the Two of Wands. It's just this beautiful energy of potential, energy of opportunity. And sometimes it's really nice to have a lot of clear space in your head, in your mind, your body, your soul, to allow for the maximum amount of opportunity and potential to happen. Remember, we've just gone through an eclipse. We're coming up to another eclipse, and we're going through some very weird, shaky time astrologically. And I think we should allow ourselves to sort of, what's the word? Float through some of this for the next few weeks rather than trying to force any type of situation. So, Sarah, in terms of your broad spectrum life, it looks like you're kind of at a moment where it's just like seeds have planted, and the intentions are set. You kind of know what you want, you know where you want to go, how you want to be, but it requires faith and hope and a belief in the good things ahead. So I'm optimistic about this. It just feels optimistic, and it allows for a lot of potential and flexibility. The important thing is not to be rigid with highly specific expectations. My sister taught me, don't expect anything and you won't be disappointed, right? So, yeah. However, it's still good to plant seeds, okay? Plant a ton of seeds for your garden, okay? The garden of the mind, the garden of the soul, the garden of your body, the garden of your life path. I think gardening is very symbolic for all of that. Okay, let's have a look at the situation itself. Okay, so you've got the Eight of Cups here, and I think this is sort of like a time-based issue. It might be to do with the eclipses, because with the Eight of Cups here, there's definitely a sense, and there's the moon over here. Please don't see this as bad or good. It just is what it is. You've lived a life already, okay, Sarah Nova? So, for example, if you keeled over tomorrow, you still would have lived a complete life. However, this indicates that you've got, let's say, I would say, a joyful future that you're creating yourself. In other words, you are, what is that word? It's an Aries energy, with the wands over here. It's like Aries. It's like self-creation energy type feel. So, in order to evolve and enjoy the optimal benefits of this Two of Wands here, there might be a tragic realization that, wow, I have grown. I have grown to the point where there are certain chapters of my life that are literally now formally filed away in the history books of life. Okay? Sarah Nova, you did that, you've been there, you've done that, you've done this, you've done that, and blah, 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 and all these other chapters and significant moments in your life. You've loved and lost. You've loved and gained. You've been loving. You've been loved. You've shared love. You've experienced love. And it goes in waves and cycles. If you're experiencing a sensation where in order to optimize your future, you're realizing in a very deep, profound way that you have to let go of the past in terms of expectations for the future. I don't know if that makes sense. In other words, it kind of doesn't make sense to use the past as a template for the next stages in your life, the next evolution, because it's like the eclipses are basically trying to indicate in a very gentle way that you've already lived all this stuff. It's history. It's history. Yeah, you might want to keep repeating the good stuff and all the fun things that you know work for you, but it's still history. Life moves on, and you're heading into the unknown. And it's okay. All this stuff is being eclipsed out of your life. And the new stuff is coming in with the Aries new moon eclipse. So it's going to be a little bit more blunt, a little bit more severe, and it's going to basically, it's almost like eliminate this card from the reading at all. So that all you need to focus on is the future. Okay. All right, let's have a look. What are the issues here? Challenges. King of Cups. Okay. So with the King of Cups, it makes me feel that you might have set yourself up with a massive expectation from yourself or others or a significant other in such a way that is there any chance of fulfillment at this astronomical scale? And then maybe realizing like that's not fair. It's almost like this to me feels like it has a double meaning here. It's like the King of Cups is the ability, the mastery of emotional energy, the energy of heart, the heart energy, for better or worse. Be loving, be loved, all those things that I talk about. Love anyway, like the Piscean themes, universal love. The King of Cups indicates mastery, complete, utter mastery in the loving component of your life, not the fiery energy, not the material 3D, not the, let's say, romantic, or not the, not the cerebral, intellectual stuff. This is much more to do with the heart energy. And if you are one of these people that sets incredibly high standards for yourself, and you're feeling that I'm never gonna, how am I gonna keep up? How am I gonna ever achieve my goals? How am I ever going to maximize myself, my true potential, my true ability? On the understanding that this is very symbolic of your true nature. In other words, you have the ability to, and forget the gender, okay? Just forget the gender for now. This is the King of Cups. It represents supreme mastery of heart energy. And one of those things is about heart energy. It's almost like a very brutal lesson. This is infinite energy from the heart, okay? You'll carry that with you on the other side. But in our three-dimensional world, we are living under the constraints of time, location, culture, conditioning from childhood, financial resources of your socioeconomic class, all the things that define your three-dimensional reality. And that can put a real sense of like claustrophobia on this beautiful heart energy, which seems to be your natural default energy. And so it's very tough. Let me just go over here for a second, see if I can convey this a little better. So it's like I learned this from Dr. Scott Peck, that love is a very, very, very precious commodity. If you think of it as an infinite supply of energy, but it's coming to you in a limited physical form. So in your day-to-day waking life, you only have so many calories and energy, amounts of energy that you can expend during the day. You only have so many hours. You only have so many skills and talents and gifts and resources. Despite your best efforts, you personally live in the constraint of a three-dimensional world where you're perfectly fine being that way, but you have to live within the very Saturn reality check, a symbolism of that three-dimensional world. Like with the King of Cups, the King of Cups is extremely aware that one of the worst things that you can do is squander your energy, your love energy, your ability to love openly. In other words, it might be a very tragic thing to realize, like, the worst thing you could do is throw this energy away, deposit this energy into someone or something or an expectation that is basically, sadly, not worthy. It's a horrible, horrible thing to say. But in order for you to optimize yourself, you have to prioritize yourself. Like Dr. Scott Peck, he realized as a battlefield frontline emergency trauma surgeon, he had two hands, and he had about 12 hours in the day during which he was functional. Anything over that, it doesn't work. So there were many, many occasions where he had to do very, very tough, brutal decisions. When he's got soldiers coming in from the battlefield, beat up, blown off, bits and pieces blown up, in shell shock, bleeding out, dying, or whatever it is, he has to prioritize where he expends the limited resources that he has in himself. And it's a very brutal thing. And the way he described it is like, okay, I've got this patient here, 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 here. I got to tell you, I can help you. I can help you. I'm going to help you. I'm going to help you. I can't help you. The most merciful thing I can do right now is to help you to pass over gently, without pain. And so that's the only way I can describe what I'm sensing, okay? I hope that makes sense to you. It's very, very tough to have to ration your ability to bring the healing power of love to this world, however that works for you, however you interpret that. I'm just talking about the energy field itself. So you obviously have a very generous nature. You have high expectations of yourself and others and your loved ones. You like reciprocal energy, understandably. But if you take it too far, you're going to get disappointed. And you might end up disappointing yourself because you feel like you have infinite capacity. But on the up in heaven, yes. But here in this three-dimensional world, we live with the constraints of Saturn. In other words, hours in the day, physical energy in your body, and skills, talents, gifts, and resources. So that might feel very frustrating to you. So how do we deal with this going forward? Wow, look at all these cup cards, jeepers. Okay, here's what I'm sensing, okay, Sarah? With this little mini reading live right now, it's very instantaneous and spontaneous that the Knight of Cups is saying, Dear Sarah, okay, you just heard everything that was coming out of the mouth of TarotLumination there, and that's all great for what it is. And he's telling you, like, oh, you got to be really, really, conscientious going forward, that you don't waste your energy. You don't dissipate your energy. You don't squander your energy on situations, people, circumstances that are unworthy of you and your energy. And you have to be very selective and very, very discerning. And sometimes that's very hard to do if you're a naturally very open, generous person. But this message is almost like saying, shut up, TarotLumination, shut up, and just tell her to keep going anyway, on the understanding that she has to understand the meaning of the message in here. Okay? It's very, very important. Otherwise, you will continue to deplete yourself and leaving a huge trail of cups behind wherever you go and ending up disappointed. And that doesn't have to be that way. So it's very, very tough. It's very, very hard to attain this level of mastery. And it looks like that's where you would like to be and where you can be. But to be there effectively means discernment and patience and just being very discriminating. Not in a nasty, discriminating. Yeah, thank you, Left Tribe. Without depletion. You cannot afford to deplete your energy at all. It's the worst thing you could do. Very, 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 very subtle form of self-destruction. It's not allowed. All right? So, Sarah, I hope that little mini reading helps you. I'm going to put this away now. Take that for what it is. You can reinterpret however you want. Obviously, the cards have other meanings to other people, and people are welcome to reinterpret. Some people write the cards down, and then they look them up in books later on. Oh, it really means that. Oh, it means this, or it means this, or that. But anyway, that's up to you. I'm just giving you my own personal mini readings. All right, so Tina, you're up. Oh, I'm glad you're in a jolly mood there. I see your notes there, Sarah. Thank you for the support there, Love Triber. All right, let's have a look. I'm going to shuffle up a little bit here, and then we're going to go over here for Tina. Here we go. All right. Tina, you're up. Here we go. All right, Tina, you know the routine. Must be quite a handful there with packs growing. Yes. Confessions of a 3-dog owner. All right, Tina, here we go. Let's have a look. All right, you know the routine, Tina. What kind of messages do we have for Tina here tonight? Dear, wonderful, beautiful, invisible friends, I'm asking all of you to surround and hang out with us and provide as much support as possible. Your life is strange. Well, you're the one who said it. You just wrote it there. My life is strange. There's a lot of stuff. I would, by the way, for people who are watching, I am inviting you to come and visit me over on Rumble. It's TarotLumination on Rumble. And I'm doing the global astrology, and sometimes it gets pretty precise, you know, with down to people and individuals and things. Mostly it's for the world, but you can see how some of the astrology is impactful for everybody. Ava, oh my God. Okie dokie. All right, here's the situation. Here's the challenges. Here's how we're going to handle things. Let's have a look at the external influences. So we have the Three of Wands here. Well, maybe your life isn't that strange after all, Tina, with the Three of Wands here. If I'm recalling, let me think about this. I try to hold as little as possible in my head because I don't want the interference or the expectation. But pretty much everybody knows here now that you have settled back in New Mexico with your new, your new abode, which has lots of room for the dogs. And you're way out in the mountains and the desert. So maybe that's just strange enough just for that. And you've had a lot of deep, profound changes in your personal world and so on. So that's great. Maybe that's strange too. But with the Three of Wands here, my feeling is that there's a sense of hope that things are unfolding. Like you're at a chapter in life where whole new vistas are gently opening up for you, while things that are redundant, thanks to the eclipses, are literally being eclipsed out of your life. Sometimes eclipses are really painful for people because they're holding on to things that are redundant because that's all they know. And the whole idea of having chunks of your life, your expectations, your experience, your world eclipsed out of your lens of the view or your experience can be really disorienting. A lot of people are so terrified of the unknown, they're so terrified of the next day or the next chapter in their life that they insist that life is a certain way, and in so doing they ultimately cripple themselves. It's a very, very, very common problem. A lot of people have it. Fear of the unknown. But what I'm sensing here is that, okay, you're declaring your life is strange. That's almost like a declaration that you're not fazed by the unpredictability and by the newness and the unknown in which you are immersed. You're immersed in it and you're going deeper into it. And you're starting to see, yes, there are patterns, because with the Three of Wands, you're starting to see patterns and outcomes from decisions maybe months, weeks, years ago. And now they're all starting to mingle together in a way that's starting to make sense in that, well, this is my new life. This is what it looks like right now. So on a calendar, for example, with astrologers, I was talking about on my other platform, that a lot of people, not a lot actually, sorry, some people, some astrologers consider the Aries new moon as the beginning of the new year. So here in 2025, that would be the 29th. That would be next Saturday. So that's what, 7 days from now. Because if you look at the chart, let me just pull out a chart from, let's say, last night or something. Where is that? Hold on, Tina. I'm just trying to do a little astrological reference. This is a chart that I had for last night. The moon is much farther on over here, and so the aspects have changed a little bit. We've got this massive cluster over here with the Pisces Aries energy right on the cusp. It's a little bit weird. Two very incongruous energies, very, very close together. So which is it? And so what I'm sensing is that with the Aries new moon, Saturday, in other words, the sun will be here, the moon will be right here, and we're starting a whole new solar cycle for the year, because everything starts from here. You know, in Western astrology, I always start from here. This is the first house of self, this identity, and so on. So when the sun is there, it's like the beginning of the beginning. Now, a lot of people think, of course, it's, Christmas, 25th of December right up here, and that's fine. I mean, you could have anywhere it is the beginning of the year if you really, really want to. But I think it's kind of important and significant that this Aries new moon eclipse is going to be very intense, and it's right here. And you might not, even though it's intense, you might not notice it or feel it that way. But if you were able to do remote viewing on yourself, on your life, and you could, put yourself into space and then look down on your life and your world, you would see that it's absolutely perfect, just as it is, even with the problems, whatever kind of problems that you have. Financial, physical, mental, material, whatever it is, household, car, whatever it is. And so it's unfolding. To me, it looks like it's unfolding in a good way, because that's what your intentions were right from the beginning anyway. And anything and everything that is obsolete and redundant, that weighs you down, is essentially going to be eclipsed out of your life and your world. You might feel that mostly in your head. It might be to do with attitudes or something. So the worst thing you could do is to hold on to it and just accept and understand that you already plotted a good course and you're just living through it. And if it feels strange to you, that's perfectly fine. If everything was perfectly orchestrated so that you would have a life of zero emotional turbulence, you would probably, maybe get extremely bored very, very quickly, or very, very terrified when something out of the ordinary happens. But it looks to me, it's almost like you're kind of in a magic carpet cruise mode, where you are either consciously or unconsciously accepting the reality of your life as it moves along. Remember, eclipses are like evolutionary gateways where there's really no going back. If you do insist on holding back and resisting the evolution, it just becomes more painful next time around. All right, let's have a look. What's the situation here? Aw, I'm happy for you, Tina. Maybe life is strange, but there are certain things that are just delicious. Okay, it might be worth taking a little, just blinking your eyes for a moment and counting your blessings. Okay, so with this Ten of Pentacles here for you, the situation, to me, it's an indication that from a very healthy perspective, I'm not talking about physical health, I'm talking about from having a very clear, pure state of mind, you've basically got everything that you need. Anything more would be like excess or excess weight. Anything less would be inappropriate. And so with the Ten of Pentacles, the things that are really, really, really important are getting to the point where they're dialed in. They're locked in some way or another, where you can go to sleep at night and not wake up in a cold sweat at 3:33 a.m. like, oh my God, I know that horrible thing's going to come back to haunt me. Like, oh my God, I should have sent this, I should have said that. I signed the wrong papers about here and there. I did the wrong thing with the wrong people, and I'm going to face a backlash. None of that. Okay. I think with the Ten of Pentacles, it's an indication that you can go around, look at your world, go out at night, maybe start a little campfire or something and have a look around, look at the stars, and understand that in your own way, in your own unique way, you're blessed. You're a very lucky woman, a very wealthy woman, a very blessed woman, a very happy woman. I'm just saying the same thing that I say to myself. But it's conditioning. I condition myself. And it looks to me that you've kind of done a lot of that by yourself already anyway. Let me go. I see some notes. Hold on. Let's have a look here. Start of the year's first day. Oh, I'm sorry, Tina. You're typing in some very brutal language on the screen today. Not nasty, but it's very blunt and brutal. You're saying your life is strange, okay? And you're fighting it. Now, this has been going on for a long time, Tina. We've been working together a long time, for years, okay? Angel, no, not at all, okay? Your middle daughter has destroyed her life, okay? You're fighting the urge to go back to Texas. New beginnings for all of us, okay? I can't fix her. When you write that, type that on the screen, the way I interpret that is truth. You're speaking your truth here. Yes, your life is strange in its own way. It's kind of a tragic thing, and you've said it in a very simple, pure, factual way. She's destroying her life, and you can't fix her. Okay? It's still okay. You can still love your daughter. But it's true, you can't fix her. It's just like when I was talking in the other reading about having to be very, very conscientious with your energy, the expenditure of your energy. You cannot afford to deplete yourself to something that can't be fixed. It's basically tragedy. You're talking about something that's real tragedy. The most important thing right now is for you to be the most awesome Tina Miller that you can possibly be for yourself. And then if your daughter needs to come and see you for whatever reason, you can sort that out. But it's almost like the worst thing could be an intervention of some kind on your part. That's very sad. It's very sad, Tina. Horrible, horrible, horrible situation. Let's have a look. What's the problems here for you? Oh, okay. You might be fighting this urge, okay? The Knight of Swords is extremely motivated to go and rescue the situation here. So this is probably correlating directly with your language in the chat right now, indicating that yeah, it would be the worst thing you could do. It's just awful, 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 awful. Sadly, there is this. I mean, there's a reason. There's a word. It's tragedy, because it is exactly what it is. It's a tragic thing, and like Love Tribe was saying, it's her life to figure out. And it looks to me like you're having extreme troubles fighting the urge to go back and rescue and savagely cut out anything and everything that is harming her, especially self-harm, okay? But that, again, that's her life journey. Very, very hard. It sounds like you're trying to, again, like the look at the notes from Love Tribe, for example. She has to help herself. Yeah, okay, all right, I don't want to dwell on the energy of tragedy, okay, because that's not what this reading about. This reading is about Tina and understanding that Tina is in a good place. It might be strange. You might be dealing with tragedy. You might be having a fierce fight within yourself to go and remedy the tragedy, knowing that the tragedy cannot be remedied by you. It can only be remedied by the person who wants to heal. And they're not ready to heal. So it's number one, the best thing you could do right with this reading so far is to be the best person that you can be for yourself right now, which you've kind of done all the staging already and created this situation. And so that's very, very valuable. That's the most important thing you could do right now, despite the tragedy. Okay? How are we going to proceed? Okay. With the Knight of Wands here, instead of rescuing your daughter, you need to continue to rescue yourself, okay? Keep investing in yourself. I mean, it sounds awful. It sounds like I'm being super mean and selfish, like, oh, Tina, you need to go out and help your daughter. She's your daughter. What are you thinking? It's so important to take care of yourself here and keep this thing going, okay? You've had so many issues of your own, Tina, to deal with. This is so valuable. The worst thing you could do is squander this to try and fix an unfixable tragedy. In which case, the way to keep going is to continue to very lovingly and very kindly invest in yourself, in your own health and your own well-being, whatever that looks like to you on a daily basis. Oh, do I need to have a nap? Oh, do I need to do some homework on my checking account? Oh, do I need to do some grocery shopping? Do I need to go for a walk and get some exercise? Oh, do I need to clear my mind? Should I, go to town and look at the shops and the windows and distract myself, or something like that? Anything to continually invest in your own ultimate well-being. That's the most important thing to do right now. Okay? It's incredibly important. This is a very, very positive, very strong, encouraging energy here, Tina. And you've worked so hard to get to be here where this is, and you deserve all of it. Do not apologize. Do not be ashamed, or do not feel that you have so much that you can squander it. No, the most important thing is to continue to nurture this. Keep feeding this thing. It's a beautiful thing. In other words, look after yourself. Aries, Aries, Aries. Remember that you're number one. The most important thing is to make yourself the best version of yourself that you can be, because that's the best mother that you could be to your daughter, whatever choices that she's making. So live and let live. Live your life, let her live her life, and so on. Okay? All right, I don't think I can add any more here tonight, okay, Tina? So let's go over here. I'm just going to leave the cards there for a moment. When I was talking about the astrology on my other platform, I've been trying to describe what I'm feeling and sensing about this cusp energy of this massive long journey from Neptune in Pisces for the last 14 years, Saturn in Pisces for the last year and 3/4, and then all the, Sun, Moon, Mercury, Venus, Mars transits through through Pisces over the years. And how that is like an era in itself. It's coming to an end. Some of you know that I focus, when I do the global astrology, I'm usually dealing with the energies of Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto. And there are humongous changes coming up for humanity. Massive tectonic shifts, okay? I can see it very clearly in the charts. The big one is Pluto in Aquarius, where we've just begun a 20-year journey. It's going to be a lot of upheaval, revolution, sometimes chaos, sometimes liberation. One of the profound themes is the desire for freedom. What is freedom? Can you define freedom? What does that mean for you in your life, in your world, and so on? So we're going to have Pluto in Aquarius. We've already got that. Saturn and Neptune are going to leave Pisces in a matter of weeks and months. Weeks, probably. If I don't have the charts in front of me right now, but coming up, okay? And that's going to shift everything into the Aries energy. Even though we have Venus in Aries right now and Mercury in Aries retrograde right now. Those retrogrades are going to compress with the sun and the moon very tightly during the eclipse. It's a very powerful Aries energy field. And I'm just going to be observing. I already have my opinions, and I've shared that on the other channel, but it's going to be difficult for a lot of people because the Aries Pisces energy is so different, and with Neptune and Pisces, it's been there for so long that the energy, sadly, what most people experience and observe is the unhealthy expression of Neptune, because it's so hard. It's incredibly hard to manifest the healthiest aspects of Neptune. Universal love, unconditional love, love anyway, divinity, connection with the great beyond, psychic phenomenon, the ability to radiate love to the world and absorb love at the same time without any expectations. It's very, very, very hard to understand that and incorporate that in a sometimes bumpy, crude, painful, three-dimensional life. So what often happens is the unhealthy aspects of Neptune manifest. Things like, betrayal, deception, lies, blackmail, sickness, disease, corruption, theft, crime, horrible things. On a massive scale, we've been seeing that across the world, especially here in America, with the collapse of the deep state and the attempt by the deep state to survive, okay? So I'm not going to get into all of that. I don't want to get into trouble, okay? And at the same time, we're migrating into the Aries energy. The Aries energy is very unambiguous. It's really blunt. It's right in your face. It's just like, it's time for me. I got to take care of me. I am the most important thing in my life right now, and that's how it is. If you don't like that, I'm sorry. It doesn't mean I'm selfish or an egomaniac, narcissist, psychopath, sociopath. It just means that I understand that I am alive. I have a right and a duty and an obligation to stay alive. That's a commitment I made at birth. And I have to do whatever I have to do to make that happen without apologizing. It's very, very different energy from the Pisces energy. Very different. So it's going to be interesting to see how humans adapt and move into this new chapter. Because when you add it all up, Uranus in Taurus right now is going to be moving into Gemini in a matter of many weeks from now. So having lived for years, a minimum of 7 years, with the Capricorn, Pisces, Taurus energy, which was very harmonious and showed on the charts, we're switching up to Aquarius, Aries, Gemini energy. So it's going to be a lot more zany, fizzy, sort of like I think of a Coke, a soda can that you just popped open. It's nice and cold, but somebody shook it up a little bit before they handed it to you. Here, have that. And you open it up, it goes, and it's just a little bit too much energy. So, got to think how to dial it down. Aries, war, fighting, and all that kind of stuff. Mars heading into Leo soon. Anyway, enough on that right now. So anyway, I'm going to wrap it up tonight. Please, you're very welcome to come and visit on TarotLumination on Rumble. Okay. Let me just check out here. Oh, there's a few more people than I thought. Okay. All right. Anyway, thank you all for arriving. I'm sorry I was a bit late. I'm just running late a lot these days. I blame it on the planets, the retrogrades, and everything else you can imagine. Take care. God willing, we'll be here again next Sunday, which will be the day after the Aries new moon eclipse. See what happens. In the meantime, take care of yourself. Please visit me on X, TarotLumination on X. Please visit me on Rumble, okay? Good night. Thank you for your kindness, your generosity, donations, and all of that.